Could you tell me the story of Casa Susana?
Sure. Casa Susana was a resort, a very kind of humble resort north of New York City that operated from the late 1950s into the late 1960s. And sort of the specialness of the place was that it hosted cross-dressers on some weekends. So these were men who had the impulse to dress as women and so this was, Casa Susana became a safe space for them to be together safely.
And there's this incredible collection of photos found by some antiquaires. What's the story about that?
Well, actually, yeah, there were two antiquaires in New York in 2004, and they discovered in a flea market, they discovered a bunch of pictures, and they knew straight away that it was nothing to do with the cabaret. So they bought the pictures, and then a book came out the year after, and they didn't know about the story. So this is where I bought the book actually, and I started to dig.
But they did the book without knowing
book.
at all the story about Casa Susana?
Absolutely not. They didn't know that there was a whole network behind. They didn't know about the magazine, Transvestia, that was a kind of social network at the time. They didn't know about anything.
But Transvestia, what was it?
So we can say that the collectors who found it at the flea market they just felt there was something special in the pictures. There was something unusual in the pictures, and part of what's unusual is to emphasize what Isa was saying is that it's not drag. They look like regular everyday women.
Yes.
A little bit
Kind
more
of,
dressed up, a little bit
yes.
more glamorous in this
Sophisticated.
rural countryside. Sophisticated.
Yeah,
like
respectable.
like in an advertisement for
right.
a fridge or
Absolutely,
something
yeah.
like that.
That's
Yeah.
right. So they published this book just thinking there's something special about this. And after that book is published, then all of a sudden we find the scholar who knows about Transvestia magazine, which was a magazine published by Virginia Prince. She was based in Los Angeles. And that magazine brought together photographs, autobiographical stories about the different cross-dressers' life as a cross-dresser. And it circulated in this small community. It helped to build a community and a network. So the scholar, Robert Hill, contacted the two collectors and said, well, I can tell you a bit about this group. And then people who are at Casa Susana, someone like Catherine Cummings, who's Australian actually, she was still living at the time, and they got in touch with her, for instance. So all of a sudden, the story started to build and grow because of these photographs that the two of them found.
And do we know who did the photographs?
They did it. It's they
A bunch of people.
Well, they did it. I mean, either you have self-portraits, or like Kate was saying, you would let your camera to another cross-dresser, and he would do the picture for you. So they all did the pictures all together.
In that sense, they are the, to use the French term, auteurs. They are the authors of the photographs. They ask for the pictures to be made. They stage the photographs.
They wanted to have photos.
That's right.
Oh, they were obsessed
It was
with
central.
photography, because photography was, you had the woman within, like they say, on the pictures. It was the only way that they could keep the woman they were on the pictures, so they were obsessed actually.
And what you said is that they were not forcément homosexual.
No, not at all. They had this. They felt that they had a feminine side in their lives that needed to be expressed, and this was. It was not related to their sexuality at all. For the most part, they at the time identified as straight. As far as we know, though, it doesn't matter.
But homosexuality was prohibited.
Yes.
At that time.
But sexual orientation's got nothing to do with gender identity, actually, whatever.
But on that time, to be a man and to show as a woman.
Oh yeah, it was for most people it was a sign of being homosexual anyway. So
deviant,
for
in
sure.
any case,
And kind of dangerous.
Oh, it was very dangerous,
Yes.
but it was dangerous anyway to be cross-dressing or to be, you know, not to be in the norm, not to be, you know, it was dangerous for a lot of people anyway.
And who bought the photos that we are
Robert-
seeing here?
There are 3 collections in the gallery currently. So there's the collection that the two collectors found. They're Robert Swope and Michelle Hurst. So, and those photographs are now in the collection of the Art Gallery of Ontario in Toronto, a fine arts museum in Toronto. The second collection belongs to the artist, the American artist Cindy Sherman, who found them about the same time, probably from the same flea market. So, and they're a complement. They are 2 parts of the same whole. They all belong, those photographs, to Susanna herself. And then the third collection belongs to the daughter of one of the cross-dressers, Doris, who was a very important publisher of science fiction. And he, Donald Wollheim, cross-dressed for his entire life. And she, the daughter, Betsy, found out about it after his death. And then all the friends, all of the close family friends, it turns out, they were also all cross-dressers. And he kept all the photographs from that whole time and was very much an important part of the group that was based in New York City.
So there's an interest about document. It's a document, but in terms of art, what do you think it expresses?
Well, I think what you see, the aesthetic interest, is that there's a couple of different levels. But for one, the way they look, the way they pose, how they're dressed, it's very much in line with a certain idea of femininity. And we see that it's so consistent. This idea of a respectable, bien posé, very well, kind of well put together. It looks very normal, actually. And this was part of the sort of political agenda of Virginia Prince, who was the publisher of Transvestia magazine. She wanted to normalize the idea that you can dress sometimes as a woman, that you be a man, that you sometimes dress as a woman. So she had a whole project through the magazine to make it seem normal and safe, that it wasn't deviant behavior. So the aesthetic, the fact that they looked like women, recognizable women, authentic women, was very much part of the political project of Virginia Prince. But also we see how they are how they are living this identity. You see this, the pictures look very much like family photographs, but they also bring in a bit of the fashion photography genre because they very much consumed Ladies' Home Journal, Vogue a little bit. They were very aware of how women looked, and especially in photographs. That was one of the
And
best
they were
sources.
married most of the time.
Some of them,
Some
yes.
of them, yeah.
Not all.
Merci.